Hi guys, Tom here. Hope everyone's managing through the lockdown still. One of the most important things in a business is to realise that you're the face of it and that you have a PR face that you need to put on. That's digitally as well as in person and through any messaging you put out. And here's a couple of tips on how to manage that at the moment. As we're all stuck at the moment with mainly digital PR and communications, it's important to get a handle on that. And a few things that I think are important are to remember to try and mix it up. If you're using social media to promote your business, if you constantly post picture after picture after picture, it gets a little bit boring and you're trying to capture the interest of people on more than one occasion. So it makes sense to mix things up. Try video, try text, try images, try anything you can to mix up that content. Another thing that works really well is to look at what it is you're posting. If all you post 3 or 4 times a week is information, it becomes a little bit heavy, and that's what your business becomes about. And actually there's a backstory to your business and people like that. So it's a good idea to put in there a little bit of personal interest story, something about the business, something funny. Put an image on there or a joke or something that represents something related to the business but isn't necessarily selling. And one of the most important things with using digital technology and different messages and varying things up is to monitor what works for you. With Facebook you can use insights, which allows you to track what's been a successful post. With Twitter and Instagram and things like that, there are tools as well, but mainly if you just track what's being shared, what's being liked, it's a good indication of what kind of media the people you're trying to reach like. So we're still in lockdown. One of the difficult things about lockdown is that when you're trying to sell to people, you're bearing in mind all of this turmoil that's happening in the UK, and sometimes you can feel a little bit odd about trying to sell to people and not be sure how to do it without being face to face. It's an odd situation to be in. So there's other things we can look at in relation to PR. It's not just about selling and making sure we've got those billboards out there. It's a great time to gather information. You're 4 times more likely to get a response to a survey or a link because people have time on their hands. They're watching, people are looking at their phones, a lot of them for most of the day at the moment because there's not a lot else going on. So it's a great time to ask questions about your product, about your website, to get consumer feedback, and there are loads of tools that allow you to do that. What I would suggest is that you do some research and see which tools apply to your type of business and the way that you're going to be selling when COVID-19 has gone its way and we can go back outside again. One of the other things that people tend to do at the moment is to put free content online, and it's brilliant. I absolutely love the idea that people are putting free content online, but as a small business trying to start, don't give everything away, because it has 2 effects. It sets an expectation when you restart the business, when the public are allowed out. People will be expecting these free things and now you're charging for them. How strange. Weird, right? And the other thing is it saturates the market. If you if you're doing tuition for something and you give away loads and loads of sessions, people are a lot less likely to pay for them if there's loads and loads of free sessions in the market anywhere, because people aren't that fussy necessarily to start with something. They want quality, but they want to try it out first and see if it's for them. And if they try it out and they've gotten everything for free, there's no reason for them to then come back and pay for a product. So just balance what you're giving away for free and look at the difference between giving away something for free and giving something away for less money than you would have charged initially. Negative feedback sucks. No one likes it, no one likes receiving it, and we don't initially feel it's that helpful. If you put content online, if you ask people to review things, if you ask customers to buy your products, you are asking for a review. Regardless of whether you put a review page on your website, you're going to get feedback because people will be happy or they won't be happy. Usually if people are happy, unless they're ecstatic, they go their way and you can carry on with your day. But if people aren't happy with the product necessarily, they will feedback on it, and you need to manage that. One of the important ways to manage that is to not take it personally. It's the first thing about getting any kind of constructive criticism, is that it's meant to be constructive, and feedback is as well. Even if someone's being completely unreasonable and saying, I'm not happy with this product, even though it arrived exactly as described and it was what was advertised, obviously they're being a little bit unreasonable because that's what was advertised. But if they're not happy, the feedback to you is that maybe the description wasn't descriptive enough. Maybe there needs to be more images of the product to show it in use, so that they can be very clear on what it's for and how it's used and what they'll be able to do with it and whatnot. So there's lots of ways to see feedback, and when it's negative, it does feel personal, but it isn't. It's about the product, it's about the business, it's not about you. If they do say, I spoke to Charlotte and she was incredibly rude, then obviously that's about you, but that's something that you need to constructively work on if that's how they feel. It's something you need to react to. Digitally, let's take YouTube as an example. If you put a video on YouTube, really are putting yourself out there, and you're open to comments and trolls and things like that, and there are people who spend their entire day trying to find videos to comment on. And comment on what the people are saying and whether they've made a mistake, or whether they look terrible because they've been inside for a really long time now, and that's just how they get their kicks. And there's not a lot you can do about that. What you can do is not react to it in a negative way. So if you've got a negative comment, that's an open invitation for a conversation about something that won't end well. So if you have a customer who says they're not happy, I would give a positive, all-inclusive statement that covers that you're sorry and that you want to provide a better service for them, and suggest what you're going to do, but that it ends with the conversation. It's a conversation stopper. Then I would say, if you're going to respond to complaints that aren't necessarily about the product and they're not very constructive, I would do the same thing. Overly positive, answer the comment. I'm sorry you feel this way, blah blah blah. We do provide X, Y, and Z, and that's it. And the reason for that is, you might think, why do you respond to a negative comment? It's useless. Well, because to somebody who's reading that, if you're worried about other people's reviews, somebody who's reading that, there's this random person who said, this is terrible, that's terrible, your hair looks rubbish. Okay, and that's the last word on it about your business. That's somebody's review. Whereas if you respond, then it's a complaint that you've responded to, and you don't have to ever respond again. And if they leave more comments, then they can do whatever they want after that. But the point is that you've had your say, you've actually used it as an opportunity to reinstate what the business does, and how good your service is, and then you've left it, and you've left them to carry on. If they want to do that, fine, their life. I think the main thing though with negative feedback is to remember that if your business is receiving any kind of feedback at all, it means that somebody saw your business, and that means that through your PR side, you're being effective. And I would take that as, in a world of 1 billion websites and billions of people, you've managed to get somebody to look at yours. And in a world full of millions and millions of products everywhere, we're crazy about making products, somebody's found yours, and even if they didn't like it, they found it, and they were probably looking for something like that. That means that you're being effective, and that's what you should take away from it. I really hope this has been helpful. It's just some odd tips. So if you have any more questions, feel free to leave a comment, or like and share would be great, because that helps me share any messages that we're giving out. But I hope you enjoy the rest of the week, Motivational Mondays, and I'll speak to you soon.